Perhaps the most disturbing casualty in the war on sex crimes are the silent majority, the countless number of children who are and will continue to suffer in silence. No one will be coming to their rescue. Their cries are unheard of because of fear. Not fear of telling someone, though, as one might think. A fear much worse, fear of family annihilation. Although I doubt there is any way we could ever gather an accurate number on how many families are suffering in the way I am about to explain, I strongly believe the number is staggering. The backlash of sex offender legislation that our elected officials are too stupid or ignorant or both to even conceive of, because none have yet to mention it. Here's the scenario. A young girl, maybe a teenager, has been touched inappropriately by her father or stepfather. The father or stepfather suffers from either A, pedophilia with lack of volition control, which is extremely serious, or B, has no sense of appropriate boundaries, perhaps due to his own upbringing, which can easily and effectively be dealt with. The child tells the mother. A heated argument ensues. The mother is heartbroken, torn in two because she wants to keep the family together. She took a vow when they got married that she would stay with him, no matter what. She loves him, and maybe he really is sorry. Maybe he won't ever do it again. The logical thing to do would be to seek help for the family and the father in the form of psychological counseling, but she stops short of making the call because she knows what will happen if she does. It isn't because she doesn't love her daughter or want the help. It's because she's scared. A psychologist or family counselor is legally obligated to report a crime if he or she has knowledge that a crime has been committed. The mother knows this. A police report will inevitably be filed, and her husband, the major breadwinner in the family, will be arrested. Undoubtedly, he will be sentenced to several years in prison for his actions. Maybe the mother is a housewife with no marketable job skills or work experience. How will she and the children survive? She wonders. The thought of being thrust into poverty and losing her home and everything that they have on top of what has just occurred terrifies and devastates her. She still thinks of making the call. She tries to think longer term. If she and the children could make it and wait until he comes home out of prison, maybe it will be all right. But deep down in her heart, she knows better. All of their lives will forever be altered. If and when the father or stepfather is allowed to return to the home, he will now be publicly known as a sex offender. Wherever they go and whatever they do, the entire family will now be marked forever. There will be great difficulty for him trying to find a job. They may be forced to move due to a residency restriction, or worse, they may not be able to find any place willing to rent to them at all because of the husband's status in society. There will be no rest for any of the family members once the flyers go out in the neighborhood. Assuming they can find a community to live in, all of the children in the family will lose their friends. They will be ostracized and alienated from all the other children, both at school and in their neighborhoods. None of their friends, if they are able to maintain friendships, will ever be allowed into their home again. Then there is the sex offender website to consider. The barrage of probation and surveillance officer visits to the home at all times of the day and night. The mother has made up her mind. She turns to her daughter and tells her that she promises it will never happen again, but that she must not tell anyone ever. The little girl cries and tells her mom, okay. Does the father learn from this episode and stop? Does he continue to touch and molest her? Most importantly, does she, the girl, grow up with a blurred sense of boundaries, and does the cycle continue? How many times does this happen in a year? In a month? Or even a day? Law enforcement agencies and government agencies repeatedly tell us that sex crimes are grossly underreported, but they don't tell us why. This is why. If their goal is to prevent this sort of thing from occurring, then the laws they are creating are doing nothing but sweeping many of society's problems under the rug. Again, it is one more example of how disingenuous and ignorant these lawmakers and their supporters are. What I am saying is, that there has to be a better way, dealing with the issues while trying to keep the family unit intact, if that is what they, the family, so desires. It is not the government's place to decide whether a family should be allowed to work out their problems or be torn apart. These families aren't given any other options other than the two I have just described. And that's outrageous. It solves, prevents nothing. Perhaps this is the highest price of all being paid for Megan's Law and others like it. I'm Amanda Rogers.